So I often get asked the question, how do I keep up to date with Microsoft Azure? It's always changing, great new features are coming out. So let's take a look at a couple of links. So first of all is the Azure Updates website, and this gives you all the new features and things that Microsoft is investing in. So you can see what's now available in preview, in development. You can see you can do keyword searches, or you can browse by product. So if you're interested in IoT or whatever it might be, you can have a look at that. So you can scroll down and see all the things that have come out inside Microsoft Azure. Next up is we have John Savill's YouTube channel, which is brilliant. If you're into Azure, I definitely recommend heading over there and subscribing. But one of the things that John does is a Azure infrastructure update video, which comes out every Sunday. And this gives you all the news for the week that you're going to really care about, especially if you're into Azure infrastructure as kind of your core skills. So head over to John and make sure you subscribe. Next up then is we have the Microsoft TechCommunity Blog. So right now, I'm just looking at all the latest blog articles, and you can see it's across a whole host of different technologies. But on the right-hand side, if you're interested in, for example, Azure Arc or Azure Architecture, you can choose a specific blog, go into that, read about all the new blogs on that technology. Of course, you could also, again, subscribe to the RSS feed. The next thing then that I think is really helpful for getting news, seeing what people are building, blogs and so on and so forth, is Twitter. So with Twitter, there's multiple ways you can do this. I quite often just search for hashtags, for example, Azure, and see what people are writing about and what they're building. You could also find people within the community that you're finding are doing interesting work and follow along with their progress. But Twitter I've found to be a really interesting place to keep up to date with technology news, whether it's Azure or some other tech as well. There's so many different communities out there. And then the next thing here, if we go out to our next website, is actually a top 100 Microsoft Azure RSS feeds. So one of my friends at Microsoft, Kurt, linked this recently on my LinkedIn, and I think this is a really helpful site. So it gives you all the Azure blogs that we looked at. You can see Thomas here, and so on and so forth. You can go through this in your own time. I'll put the link down below. But I think this is pretty interesting and gives you a great place to look through to find places that you're really interested to bring that news into your RSS feeds. So lastly then, I've mentioned RSS a lot of times. Don't want to dig into it, but here's a website for RSS.app. Just shows you how to bring, for example, RSS feeds straight into Microsoft Teams. So maybe you create a channel or whatever it might be for all your Azure news. This would be a good way of doing it. And then lastly, kind of as a bonus tip, is it's great to read all the news and get up to date and see what's there, but the best way of learning any of this is to actually start building something. So you're going to want to go to your Azure subscription and try out these new features. See if you can break it, learn from it. Just get excited and curious on what Azure can do for you. Well, that's it for this week, and we'll see you next time.